The gentleman yields back. The chair now recognizes the gentlelady from Massachusetts, Ms. Trahan, for 5 minutes for her questions. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for holding this important hearing. So important that we get our chance to ask our questions. So, Mr. Lamberg, in September 2014, just months after the Islamic State announced the formation of the Islamic Caliphate in Syria and Iraq, the United States created a new global coalition with its international allies and partners to conduct counterterrorism operations against ISIS. And over the next 5 years, the global coalition to defeat ISIS worked with and through local military partners to eliminate the Islamic State's territorial holds. The coalition also utilized non-military measures to reduce the Islamic State's access to funds, undermine its ability to spread its messages online, and stabilize areas that had been liberated from ISIS's grasp. While the fight against ISIS continues, the coalition's efforts succeeded in eliminating the physical ISIS caliphate in 2019. So, Mr. Lamberg, can you please describe how the coalition connected military pressure with diplomatic and other non-military efforts to successfully degrade ISIS's hold in Iraq and Syria?
Thank you. I think you could characterize the de-ISIS coalition as the most successful international counterterrorism organization in history. As you said, it combined the capabilities of many different partners, not just the United States, including all of our most capable partners, really. And it also took a whole of government approach, so it was not just bringing to bear military use of force, but also all of the civilian capabilities that many of our governments are very capable of. So the complete destruction of the caliphate was a huge success. We continue to be concerned about ISIS in the core. One of the things we've seen and been able to pivot the coalition to address especially over the last year, and I'll say actually there was a meeting of political directors on the 2nd of December, and there's a meeting in Bucharest today, and in both meetings they're discussing how this coalition, which is now 84 members because Burkina Faso just joined, is now going to leverage our combined capabilities in places where ISIS affiliates are operating, like in sub-Saharan Africa, but also bringing to bear our capabilities and not just kinetic capabilities, but civilian-led capabilities to address the threat of ISIS Khorasan coming out of Afghanistan.
That's great that the coalition is growing because the global coalition rightfully focused its efforts on degrading ISIS's capabilities in Iraq and Syria. The ISIS threat is obviously not contained to those two countries, and that became painfully and devastatingly clear on August 26th when militants associated with ISIS-K carried out an attack in Kabul that killed 13 U.S. service members and at least 170 Afghan citizens. And one of those service members, Sergeant Jahani Rosario Pichardo, was from my district. She was the proud daughter of Lawrence, Massachusetts, and her community will forever remember her and the 12 other service members killed as heroes. Mr. Lamberg, on November 17th, you testified to the House Foreign Affairs Committee that immediately after this attack, the State Department asked members of the global coalition to defeat ISIS to, quote, consider how it might leverage its experience and expertise to counter ISIS-K. You further stated that the coalition has, quote, responded and identified potential efforts against the ISIS-K threat. Why does the State Department believe the global coalition's counter-ISIS efforts can be expanded to Afghanistan? And can you elaborate on the potential lines of effort the global coalition members identified to counter ISIS-K?
Thank you, Congresswoman. So in the announcements that came out of the political directors meeting a few days ago, they highlighted how we can leverage each other's experience and capabilities in the area, especially of counter messaging related to ISIS in Afghanistan, also foreign fighter flows, which is of deep concern to many people related to ISIS-K operating in Central and South Asia, and as well as countering ISIS financing. So these are some of the areas where working groups within the coalition have already started to consider how we can collectively manage any ISIS Khorasan threat emanating from Afghanistan.
Great. Well, my time is almost up. I will say that the creation of the global coalition to defeat ISIS heralded a new way to conduct counterterrorism, one that relied not only on our military power, but also on diplomatic and civilian lines of efforts to degrade terrorist capabilities and assist vulnerable populations directly affected by the Islamic State's rule. And if we are to effectively counter the threat of ISIS-K, we will need to do so in coordination with our allies and partners, using all of the military and civilian tools of national power at our disposal. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, again for letting me wave on, and I yield back.
The gentlelady yields back, and we are grateful for her participation. And we share in her loss for her local constituent who gave her life so that others would be able to exit Afghanistan. The chair now recognizes the full committee ranking member.